Hey everyone, welcome to Elevate Your English. I'm Avery.
And I'm Eden, and today we're talking about something that literally everyone needs to know how to do in English.
Right, introducing yourself. Like, it sounds so simple, but
But it's actually kind of tricky. Imagine this, you meet someone new, maybe at work or at a party, and your mind goes blank. You know how to say your name, but what's next? Today we'll show you how to introduce yourself naturally and confidently. No awkward silences, just smooth conversations in different settings.
exactly. Because there's so many different situations where you need to introduce yourself. And, well, you can't just say the same thing every single time.
Totally. Like how you introduce yourself at a job interview is going to be way different from how you introduce yourself at, I don't know, a coffee shop or.
Or a party.
Right, exactly. So we're going to break this down today and give you some really practical tips that you can actually use in real life.
Yeah. And Eden, I think we should start with the basics because even though introducing yourself seems obvious, there are actually some common mistakes that even advanced English speakers make.
Oh, absolutely. So let's talk about the most basic introduction first. Like, hi, I'm Eden. That's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of learners say, my name is, it's not wrong, but it sounds really formal.
Right, like really formal, like you're in a courtroom or something.
Exactly. So in casual situations, we usually just say, I'm, or even more casual, I'm Avery, with like a little wave or whatever.
And then there's the whole handshake thing, which I know it varies by culture, but in American English speaking contexts, a firm handshake is usually expected.
Yeah, but not bone crushing firm.
Oh God, no. I hate those handshakes where it's like they're trying to prove something.
Right, exactly. It should just be confident, like firm but not aggressive. And you make eye contact.
Eye contact is huge.
Yeah, and smile. I mean, unless you're at a funeral or something, but generally speaking, people appreciate a friendly smile when you meet them.
Totally. Okay, so let's talk about different situations because that's where it gets interesting. Avery, what about, let's say you're at a networking event?
Oh, networking events are tricky because you need to give enough information that people remember you, but not so much that you sound like you're giving a presentation.
Right. Nobody wants the 5-minute elevator pitch when they just asked your name.
Exactly. So a good formula is name, what you do, and maybe one interesting detail. Like, hi, I'm Avery. I'm a podcast host, and I help people improve their English.
That's perfect because it gives them something to ask about.
Right. It's like you're giving them a conversation starter. And then you can ask them about themselves, which is super important.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. Like introducing yourself isn't just about giving information. It's about starting a conversation. Let me repeat that. Introducing yourself isn't just about giving information. It's about starting a conversation.
Exactly. Think of it like playing volleyball with someone. The ball needs to be tossed back and forth for the game to be fun. So after you introduce yourself, you should immediately turn it back to them. Like, what about you? Or what brings you here tonight?
Those are great phrases. What brings you here is so natural and it works in so many situations.
It does. Okay, but what about more formal situations like job interviews or meeting your professor for the first time?
Oh, that's totally different. In formal situations, you actually do want to use my name is, or even, well, it depends on the context, but sometimes I'm pleased to meet you, or it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, and you might include your title or why you're there. Like, good morning, my name is Avery Johnson. I'm here for the 10 a.m. interview.
Perfect. And your tone it should be confident but respectful, you know?
Right, not too casual, but not like you're scared either. Finding that balance it takes practice.
It totally does. Okay, let's talk about something that I think a lot of our listeners struggle with. Introducing yourself when English isn't your first language. Please know you have nothing to be ashamed about. Learning another language shows that you're always learning and improving yourself.
Oh, this is such an important topic because, okay, first of all, should you mention that you're learning English?
That's a great question. I think it depends on the situation, but honestly, sometimes it can be helpful.
Yeah, like if you're worried about your pronunciation or if you might need them to speak a little slower, it's totally okay to say something like, Hi, I'm Maria. I'm still learning English, so please bear with me. Bear with me means be patient with me or be understanding with me.
Right. And most people are actually, they're really understanding about that.
They are, and you know what? You can also turn it into a positive, like, "Hi, I'm Carlos. I'm from Mexico and I'm practicing my English." That way you're sharing something interesting about yourself.
I love that because it opens up the conversation to talking about travel or culture. Or there's so many directions it can go.
Exactly. And here's the thing, your accent is not something to be embarrassed about. Like it's part of who you are.
Absolutely. As long as people can understand you, your accent is it's totally fine. It's interesting.
Right. And if someone can't understand you, they'll usually just ask you to repeat it, that's normal. It happens to native speakers too.
Oh, totally. I ask people to repeat themselves all the time, especially in noisy places like restaurants or parties.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about some specific phrases that are really useful. Eden, what are some of your favorites?
Okay, so for casual situations, hey, I'm Eden is perfect, super natural, super friendly. For slightly more formal, hi, I'm Eden, nice to meet you.
Those are good. I also like, I don't think we've met. I'm Avery. That's good when you're at like a work event or something.
Oh, that's a good one. It acknowledges that you might have seen each other before, but haven't actually been introduced.
Right, exactly. And what about when someone introduces themselves to you? You need to respond, obviously, but what do you say?
Right. So the classic response is nice to meet you or pleasure to meet you if you want to be a bit more formal.
Yeah, and if you want to be really casual, you can just say hey back or good to meet you.
And here's something that I think trips people up. If you're being introduced by someone else, you still need to acknowledge the person you're meeting.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Like if Sarah says, "This is my friend Tom," you don't just stand there.
Right. You still say, hi, Tom, or nice to meet you, or whatever.
Exactly. It's polite, you know? Okay, let's talk about body language for a second because that's actually a huge part of introducing yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could have the perfect words, but if your body language is closed off or awkward, it's going to be weird.
Right. So basic stuff. Stand up straight, make eye contact, smile if appropriate.
Face the person you're talking to.
Yeah, that's big. Don't introduce yourself while you're looking over their shoulder at someone else.
Oh god, yes, that's so rude. And put your phone away. Like if you're going to introduce yourself to someone, give them your full attention.
Absolutely. These might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how often people get this stuff wrong.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about some common mistakes. Avery, what are some things you see people do that just don't work?
Okay, so one big one is giving too much information right away. Like I've had people introduce themselves and then immediately launch into their entire life story.
Oh no, that's a lot.
It is, like save some stuff for the actual conversation, you know?
Right, exactly. Another one is speaking too quietly. I get that some people are shy, but if the other person can't hear you, it's going to be awkward.
Yeah, you need to project your voice a little bit. Not like you're shouting, but clear and confident.
Mhm. And then there's the opposite problem, talking too loudly or being too intense.
Right, you want to match the energy of the situation. If you're at a quiet coffee shop, don't introduce yourself like you're at a rock concert.
Exactly. Read the room, basically.
Yeah, read the room. That's such good advice for so many situations. Okay, what about remembering names? Because that's part of introducing yourself too.
Oh, that's such a good point. When someone tells you their name, you should try to use it right away. Like, nice to meet you, Sarah.
Right, that helps you remember it, and it shows that you're paying attention.
And if you didn't catch their name, it's totally okay to ask them to repeat it. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Yeah, that's way better than pretending you heard it and then avoiding using their name for the entire conversation.
Oh, God, I've done that before. It's so awkward when you realize you have no idea what their name is.
We've all been there. And you know what? People understand. Names can be tricky, especially if there's background noise or an unfamiliar accent.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about some specific scenarios. Like, what if you're introducing yourself to a group of people?
Oh, that can be intimidating. So first thing, don't try to shake hands with everyone at once. It gets chaotic.
Right, yeah. Usually you can address the group and say something like, "Hi everyone, I'm Eden."
Yeah, and then people will usually introduce themselves to you individually, or someone in the group will do the introductions.
Exactly. And if you're joining a conversation that's already happening, you might say something like, "Mind if I join you? I'm Eden."
That's perfect because it's polite and it doesn't interrupt the flow of their conversation.
Right. Okay, what about online introductions, like video calls or even just meeting people on social media?
Oh, that's such a good question because online communication is so different. For video calls, a lot of the same rules apply. You want to make eye contact with the camera, not the screen.
That's such a good point. I still struggle with that sometimes.
It's hard, but it makes such a difference. And you want to speak clearly because audio quality can be iffy sometimes.
And maybe speak a little slower than you normally would just to make sure you're understood.
Exactly. For social media or written introductions, you have more time to think about what you want to say, which is nice.
Yeah, but you also don't have tone of voice or facial expressions to help convey your personality.
Right, so you might need to be a little more expressive in your writing. Maybe use an exclamation point or an emoji if it's appropriate.
Yeah, just to show that you're friendly and approachable.
Exactly. Okay, we're running out of time, but I want to give our listeners some practice ideas, I guess. Eden, what would you suggest?
Yes, before we wrap up, I think we should do some role playing. Like, let's act out some of these scenarios so our listeners can really hear what it sounds like. Also, practice introducing yourself in front of a mirror. I know it sounds silly, but it really helps you see how you look and hear how you sound.
Right, because the only way to get comfortable with it is to do it a lot and practice different versions. Casual, formal, professional. Have like 3 different introductions ready to go. Then actually use them. Find opportunities to introduce yourself to new people.
Oh, I love that idea. That's such a good way to really demonstrate the differences. Okay, let's start with, let's say we're at a networking event. I'll be the person approaching you. Hi there, I don't think we've met. I'm Eden, and I work in digital marketing. What about you?
Hey, Eden. Nice to meet you. I'm Avery, and I'm a podcast host. I actually help people improve their English communication skills. Digital marketing, that's really cool. What kind of companies do you work with?
Perfect. Okay, so did everyone catch what just happened there? We both did several really important things. First, we gave our names and what we do, but we also asked follow-up questions to keep the conversation going. Remember, conversation is like playing volleyball. The ball needs to be tossed back and forth.
Exactly. And notice how we both said nice to meet you and used each other's names. That's really important for making a good impression and helping you remember the person.
Yes, and remember, most people they're pretty forgiving. If you mess up, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely. Everyone's been in that awkward situation where you forget someone's name or say something weird. It happens.
It totally does. The important thing is just putting yourself out there and being genuine. All right, let's try a more formal scenario. Avery, you're the interviewer, and I have just arrived for a job interview.
Good morning. You must be here for the marketing position interview.
Yes, that's correct. Good morning. My name is Eden Martinez, and I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to see me today.
Perfect example of a formal introduction. Notice how Eden used her full name, said pleased to meet you instead of just nice to meet you, and added a thank you at the end. Much more professional tone.
You know what, Avery? I think we should also talk about cultural differences because not everyone comes from a handshake culture, and that's totally okay.
Absolutely. In some cultures, people bow or they put their hands together or they just nod. And you know what? If that's more comfortable for you, that's perfectly fine. The most important thing is being respectful and genuine.
Right, and especially after COVID, a lot of people are more comfortable with just a wave or a nod anyway. You can always follow the other person's lead. If they extend their hand, you can shake it, but if they don't, that's fine too.
Speaking of being genuine, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. Because they will. What if you completely blank on someone's name, even though you've met them before?
Oh, God, this happens to everyone. The best thing to do is just be honest. You can say something like, I'm so sorry, I'm terrible with names. Could you remind me? Most people are really understanding about it.
Exactly. And you know what? Sometimes it's actually a great conversation starter because then they might say, oh, I'm terrible with names too. And suddenly you have something in common.
You know what we haven't talked about yet? Introducing other people. Like when you're with a friend and you meet someone new, you should introduce them to each other.
Oh, that's such a good point. It's actually rude not to introduce people when you're standing there with them. You can say something like, Sarah, this is my friend Mike. Mike, this is Sarah. She's the one I told you about who works in graphic design.
Perfect. And notice how you gave them something to talk about. You mentioned Sarah's job. That gives them a natural conversation starter, so it's not just awkward silence after the introduction.
There's actually some etiquette around who you introduce first. Generally, you introduce the younger person to the older person, or the more junior person to the senior person. Like, Mr. Johnson, I'd like you to meet my colleague, Alex.
That's a good rule to know, but honestly, don't stress too much about it. Most people won't notice if you get it wrong, and the important thing is that you're making the effort to introduce them at all.
We should probably talk about modern situations too. Like, what if you're introduced to someone through text message or in a group chat? That's becoming super common.
Oh, yes, I get added to group chats all the time. It's polite to introduce yourself when you join, even if someone else added you. You can say something like, "Hi, everyone, I'm Eden. Thanks for adding me to the chat. Looking forward to meeting you all."
That's perfect. And in professional settings, you might include your role or why you're there. Like, "Hi, I'm Avery from the marketing team. Excited to work with you on this project."
One last thing, and this is really important. After you meet someone new, especially in professional settings, try to follow up within a day or two. Send a quick email or LinkedIn message saying, "It was great meeting you yesterday," or something like that.
Yes, that's how you turn a brief introduction into a real professional relationship. It shows you're thoughtful and that you actually remember meeting them. Plus, it makes it easier to reach out again in the future if you need to.
Perfect. All right, everyone, that's our episode for today. Remember, introducing yourself it's a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice.
Right. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You've got this.
Thanks for listening to Elevate Your English. I'm Eden.
And I'm Avery. We'll see you next time.